We struggle so much with economic development these days, and yet here we have no way of sustainably using the forest anymore. All of those timber mills are gone. Ranching kind of struggles along. We've silenced the poor train whistle. But the worst thing we did of all was, in my own opinion, the old-time powwow, which I don't know if any of you were familiar with it. It attracted to this town from the 1930s through the 1970s upwards of, well over 100,000 people to this town. And in the 70s, we just said, you know, enough. We've had enough of it, so no more. And I think it's too bad, in a way, that all those things that were so important early on to this economy, we don't have any access to any of that stuff anymore. I hope we find good replacements for it all. Thank you so much for coming out in this horrible weather, and this has been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Take a couple questions.
I'll take a couple questions.
And then also, if anybody wants to get the book and see the photos on their own schedule, it's out there and he'll sign it afterwards.
Okay. Yes.
Does the Old Town Spring, the current Old Town Spring, does that tree actually mark where the Old Town was?
Exactly. It's right in the middle. That's why the settlement was there. Comes right out of the ground.
Jim, just to update you on the Walnut Canyon Dam.
Yeah.
The permits were completed. Warren Smith owns that.
Yes.
And he bought it from the railroad.
Right.
He completely redid the dam, but it's holding water now. It's been permitted and restructured, and it's been.
Glad to hear. Glad to hear.
But it looks just now, just like
yeah, just the same. It's really old. Yeah.
Where was the Tufa quarry? Was that East Flagstaff?
Yes. Yeah, right in the middle of Sunnyside.
Right on the backside of Eric's?
Not far from there. There was a big pit there.
And when was that closed? Do you know?
Oh, I'd say probably in the 60s. But when we were redoing one of the buildings downtown, we were able to get some out by Continental Country Club and cut it. Because it's so soft, you can just cut it and it's easy. Up here.
I noticed on the commercial building east of the bank that your family and the Reardon family had constructed across from your building was the term on a commercial side, flagite.
Yes.
Did that term ever have currency in describing a resident of Flagstaff?
No, that was Sam Finley, and he had the hardware store there. And there is a ghost sign up there, and if you look very carefully on the north side of the building, it says something to the effect of a flagite was poor until he came to my store. I never heard it in any other context.
Did they clear cut when they logged, or was it selective cutting?
It was all about size. They were going for the economy of it, so the bigger the better. And, you know, in those days, I guess they would describe the forest as being composed of large old growth and then many open spaces, and none of these little thickets of little trees. But they got almost all of it. I mean, there's not much old growth anywhere anymore. They really got it all. Way up there.
So, in lieu of what you just said about the powwow being gone, do you think that it's worth the money for the county to continue having the horse races and the rodeo here, even if it represents temporary loss for a few years?
Well, I'm not so sure about it, but I think that those are goners pretty much. I think the interest is just, and the economics just aren't there anymore. And the county's got all kinds of its own budgetary worries. I don't know. You know, I like to live in the past, but it seems like you've got to keep marching forward.
You know about the old rock fort that sits on the rim of the LCR downstream of Grand Falls?
Sure. Well, Harold Colton knew about it early on, and he told the story of the great conundrum was it a Mormon deal or was it a Native American prehistoric deal. And so he set out to find the answer. So they sent an expedition out there and they climbed up to it and they looked around and they found one piece of pottery